Welcome to Off the Hook Crochet with Julie. Today we're going to learn the join as you go method of joining granny squares for a granny square blanket or whatever else you might, cushion square, or there's all sorts of things you can do with granny squares. Couch covers, blankets, cushion covers, whatever. Alright, so this is the join as you go method, and I've made 4 grey granny squares just to show how it's done. Alright, they don't have to be, your granny squares don't have to be the same colour, your borders don't have to be the same colour, it's completely up to you. But I'm using grey granny squares today with a cream border, but you can do whatever you like. Now with one of the 4, or however many you've got, on the first one you do a border all the way around, just like we learned in our granny square video, and the first one you do that all the way around, just like that. Okay, so that's where we start from. So that's our first one, and the rest of them will be done join as you go. Okay, so if you need to know how to do a granny square, you can have a look at my tutorial on how to do the granny square. I'll leave a link to that video in the description box below. Alright, so here we go. We're going to start joining as we go. So you need to pick up one of your squares that hasn't got a border on it, and we need to pop the wool on our needle, or a hook. I call it a needle sometimes, you've probably noticed. It's really a hook. Okay, so what we need to do is start like normal on just any side of the square, it doesn't matter. Okay, so here we go. We have to join our yarn to our work. So I like to start in the middle of the row for this. So slip stitch your yarn onto your work, or tie a knot, or however you do it. And then we start with a chain 3. It's one of those pretend trebles that I talked about in my granny square video. And then, so that was a 2, then this is number 2, and this is number 3. Then we chain 1, just like we normally would, and do another 3 treble. 1, oops, I'm a bit movie there, 2, 3, and then we chain 1, and then we're up to our corner, so we do 3 trebles in the corner, 1, 2, 3, and then we chain 1. Now normally we would chain 3 in a corner and just keep going around, but we're going to start joining these 2 together. So we'll only be joining down one side because there's only 2 squares to join together. So what we do, first of all you have to make sure your yarn is in front of your hook like that, not behind it. And then you put your needle through the corner of the other granny square. So that's under the 3 chains. Then you pick up your wool and you pull it through, and as you do, just turn your needle so that it comes, and you've got 2 loops on the hook. And then you just pull through like a slip stitch. And then you've joined those 2 at the corner. Alright, now then you chain 1. Okay, so we're joined. And now we do 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we've got our squares joined at 2 corners. Make sure that they're both up the right way. So both of those have got the same side showing. That's important, otherwise it will look funny. So make sure that they've both got the same side facing you. Whichever side you think is the one that you want to be the front needs to be facing you. Alright, so we've joined the corners. Now we've got 2 pieces that we have to work with. So just take your time and don't be overwhelmed. It's easy, but it just takes a bit of getting used to. Okay, so we make sure that our yarn is in front of our needle, and instead of doing a chain 1, we're going to do another slip stitch that joins the loop. So we've got our yarn in front of our needle, pull it through, grab your wool and turn your needle as you pull it up, so that you've got 2 loops on the hook and the hook facing you, and then you just pull it through like that, a slip stitch in effect, and then you move to your next 1 chain space and you do 3 treble. So effectively that slip stitch that you use to join the 1 chain space to the grey square is counted as a chain, so that's why you're not doing one. Alright, so here we come to our next one. Yarn in front of the needle, needle through the hole, grab your yarn, pull it through and turn your needle so that your hook faces you when you've finished, and then just pull it through, a slip stitch. That takes the place of your chain 1, and then you chain 3 into your grey square, so it's making a border that looks like the other one that's got the border around all 3 sides, the cream 4 sides, and 3 treble into the 1 chain space. Yarn in front of your hook, hook into the chain space, grab it, pull it through, turn your hook and slip stitch. Okay, so now you can see that we've run out of 1 chain spaces on the grey square, but we've still got 1 centimetre space on the one with the cream border, and that's how it should be. Okay, so now yarn in front of our hook, through the 1 chain space in the one with the cream border, turn your hook as you pull it through and slip stitch. Okay, now next we're up to a corner. So 1 chain, that's a treble, 1 treble 2, and treble 3, and then we do our 1 chain space, and then we do the joining slip stitch. So hook through the 3 chain space, catch the wool, turn it round, pull it through for a slip stitch, and then we do another chain, and then we do another 3 treble. So that in effect was 3 trebles, 3 chains. The slip stitch counted as a chain, and then another chain, and then 3 treble. It's like a normal corner. So now what you need to do is go around the rest of the grey doing a normal granny stitch, alright? Well, when you get to the end, I'll meet you there and we'll see how to finish it off. Alright? Okay, so we're back to where we started from. So what we need to do, I've done the 3 treble into that last chain space. We chain 1, and then we go in the top chain space of our pretend treble crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and then we just slip stitch it off to finish. So it's being a little bit stubborn on me, but there we go. We go through both the loops of that stitch 1, oh, went through more than one. 1, 2, yarn over, pull through all the loops on the hook, so you're just left with one. Then you snip your wool off and yarn over and pull through. To finish it off, give it a pull so it's nice and tight and it won't come undone. Okay, so there you can see we've got 2 of our granny squares joined together and we've got another 2 to go. So that was fairly simple. As you can see though, as we get further along, you're going to have to join multiple sides. So at the moment we've only had to join down the middle there, but as we do this one we're going to have to join across there, and we're going to have to deal with this middle 2 sections here, and then as we put this one in we'll have to join down there and across there. So that's what we're going to do next. We'll join this one and then we'll join that one. Okay, so now we're going to join our 3rd granny square into the picture. So much like before, this is very similar to the one we just joined over here, but we've got this double corner happening in the middle, and we need to, there's a technique for adding a 3rd one in. Alright, so make a slip stitch, pop it on your hook, pull it tight. Now it's exactly the same as the other one, so you need to attach your yarn to your work. So I do that with a slip stitch, and then I chain my 3 for my pretend treble, 1, 2, 3, and then I treble 2 all into that one chain space. 1, 2. Lovely. So there we've got our first treble cluster, and then we chain 1 and another 3 treble into that chain space. This is all, you know, as you would for a normal granny square. Chain 1. Now this is where the business starts. We do, this is a corner. I should just show that to you. So now we're up to our first corner. So this is our 3 chain space. So we're going to start that off as you always would with a corner, with 3 treble. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to chain 1. Okay, so now we've done our 3 treble and we've done our chain, and now we're up to the corner where we join in, where we join as we go. So we put our hook through the 3 chain space. Sorry, we need to put the yarn in front of the hook first. Put the hook through the 3 chain space, round the hook, turn your hook, pull it through, and then pull through. So that's a slip stitch. So that's our second chain, and 1 more chain, and then we do our other 3 treble to complete the corner. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's that corner completed. Now turn your work so that you've got the line that you're doing facing you, and then in our first chain space on our cream row on the border on the opposite square, you pop your yarn in front of your hook, pop your hook through the hole, grab your yarn, twist your needle and pull through, and then pull through that stitch on the hook. And then we do 3 treble into the 1 chain space on the grey square, just like a normal granny square. 1, 2, 3, and then we do the slip stitch into the next chain space on the cream border. So yarn in front of the hook, hook through the one chain space in the cream, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the chain on the hook. So you're left with one stitch on the hook. And then we do 3 treble. 1, 2, 3 into the grey row of the joining square, and then we do the slip stitch into the cream square. So yarn in front of the hook, hook through the hole, round the needle, and as you pull the needle through, make sure the hook's facing you, give it a little twist. And there we go, a slip stitch. And then we need to do 3 trebles into the one chain space on the grey square. 1, 2, 3. Lovely. And then we do the slip stitch into the one chain space of the bordered square, the cream border. So it's yarn through. Oh, there we go. So now we're up to the corner. So what we do is we we treble 3. I've got a habit of doing that, don't I? 1, 2, 3. And then we chain 1, and now we have to slip 1. But you'll notice we've got 2 squares already joining here, and they join there. Now what I do when I get to this point is I always do my slip stitch into the opposite corner. So opposite from where I am now is that one. Sorry. So I'm here, where the hook is, and this square here is the opposite one, and that's the corner I'm going to go into. Alright, so it's same rules, yarn in front of the hook, which you can see it's here, hook through, yarn over, turn your hook, do your slip stitch. Then we need 1 more chain, and then 3 treble. 1, 2, 3. And now you can see, I'll just pull myself out a bit more so I can have a bit of freedom. I'll pull the hook out. So this is where we're at. We've got these 2 squares that we've joined, and this is the one that we're joining in at the moment. And what we've just done is we've joined it to the other 2 at the corner where these 4 corners will meet. And we've joined this corner to the opposite corner over here. And when we put the 4th square on, we'll join that to the opposite corner, which will be this one over here. And then you get a nice neat join. If you don't do the opposite corners for squares 3 and 4, it doesn't look right. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is do what we did with this other square. I'm going to go right the way round and finish it off over here. And I'll join you back when I'm putting in the final square. Okay. Okay, so this is where we are so far. We've got 3 of our grey squares joined together with the cream wool, and it's looking lovely. So as you can see, if you give them a little stretch, it's a nice strong join, but it creates a bit of a loopy pattern in the middle, which is quite nice. Same goes for the top 2. So it's all looking lovely. You can use whatever colours you want. So now we're going to pop this square in here, and this is the one where we go 2 sides. So we have to join down this side and down this side with the cream so that it all looks nice, and then it's just a normal granny square border for the other 2 sides. So that's where we're up to now, and this is, as I said before, called join as you go. So people that use this method usually crochet a granny square or 2 or 3 and then join them all in one hit, and then go back and crochet some more until they've got the size blanket they want. Okay, so here we go with our final granny square, joining into the other 3 we've joined together. So as usual, make a slip stitch and pop it on your hook. Lovely. And then we'll start in the middle of the row of the grey one, just like we have for all the others. Okay, so we join the yarn onto our final granny square with a slip stitch and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 trebles into the same hole. 1, 2. And then at this stage it's just like a normal granny square, so we chain 1 and then we chain 3 into the next 1 chain space, as if we were making just an extra row on a normal granny square. Alright, and chain 1. And now we're up to a corner, so we do 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3, and then we do 1 chain, and then we pick up our other 3 that we've already joined. So here we go, and then we make sure that we've got the same sides facing up so that both squares look the same. Okay, so now it's time to join the grey granny square into the ones with the cream borders. So yarn in front of the hook, hook through the 3 chain space, grab the yarn, turn the hook and pull through. It's our slip stitch. And then we do 1 more chain, and then we do 3 trebles. Just like any other corner, the slip stitch stands for 1 treble, so you've got 1 chain, a slip stitch, 1 chain, which gives you 3 chains, not a treble. Gosh, what's wrong with me? Okay, so and then you turn your work. Okay, so now just like before, we're not going to do chains, we're going to do slip stitches to join our work instead. So yarn in front of your needle, put your hook under the 1 chain space, grab the yarn, pull it through the hole and turn the hook as you go and pull through. So you've got 1 loop on the hook. Move on to the next 1 chain space in the grey and do 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now yarn in front of the needle, hook under the 1 chain space, grab the yarn, pull through and turn the hook, pull through, 1 loop on the hook, and then 3 trebles on the grey square. 1, 2, 3. Okay, back to the cream one. Yarn in front of your hook, hook under the 1 chain space, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then pull through the stitch on the hook. There's your slip stitch, and then 3 trebles into the 1 chain space on the grey square. Oops, 1, 2, 3. And then our final one chain space in the cream, yarn in front of the hook, hook under the one chain space, grab the yarn, turn your needle as you pull it through, and then pull through one. So now we've joined all of that side and we're up to another corner. Sorry. And then you do 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. Then we do 1 chain. Now here comes this is as tricky as it gets. We're up to the part where all 4 squares join together. So remember I said before, you get the best look when you go into the 3 chain space on the opposite corner from where you are. So we're here. So the opposite corner for us is this one here. And that's where we want to go. Okay, so pop your hook through that opposite corner, yarn over and pull through while you turn your hook, and then pull through the stitch on the hook. That's attached there now. And then it's 1 chain. It all feels a bit bulky in your hand, but don't worry about that. It'll come up beautifully. And then it's 3 trebles. Just like a normal granny square in the grey square. Okay. Lovely. So now we need to turn our work, because we're coming down the final side of the cream now, and it's the same process that we've been going all along. So it's yarn in front of your hook, hook into the 1 chain space in the cream, pull through and slip stitch, and then it's 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3, and then we're back to the cream. We got a hook through the 1 chain space, grab the yarn, turn your hook and pull through for a slip stitch. 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3, and then through the chain space in the cream. Put our yarn a join from the previous one, so it's through the 1 chain space, grab the yarn, pull it through, turn your hook and pull through for a slip stitch. And for our final 3 treble in the grey, 1, 2, 3, and then our final slip stitch in our cream. Grab the yarn, pull it through, turn the hook, pull through for a slip stitch, and then we're back to another corner. So it's 3 treble, 1, 2, 3, it's 1 chain, then you go into the 3 chain space from the corner with the cream, yarn over, pull through 1, and then 1 more chain, and then 3 trebles. And that's all the joins done for these 4 squares when we get to that point. Alright, so now you just finish off the rest of the grey square like you would any other granny square, and then we'll have a look at it when it's done. Okay, and there you have it. That's the join as you go method for granny squares, and we've got 4 joined together there, and we've got a nice neat little crossover in the middle that when it's stretched it stays nice and neat together. Just remember, if you want to look at my granny square video, I'll leave a link to that in the descriptions, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, so that to like this video I should say, and subscribe to my channel so that you automatically get updates of any new videos that I do. Thanks for being with me. I'm Julie from Off the Hook Crochet, and I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye.